Ladies and gentlemen, we just got ourselves the biggest crypto news in the entire year. Or maybe even in the entire decade, I don't know. Because Sam Bankman-Freed, well, he got extradited to the USA. We all know it. It was a very big deal. It was phenomenal to watch this whole endeavor. But if that was it, I wouldn't be here today making another video for you guys. He's apparently not only hurt a lot of people with the mismanagement of FTX, let's call it that, but apparently he's also decided to go for a very interesting record. Now, as you guys can see over on Google, if you type in his name, he's got a very special little palette here, a very special little section. And that's because this man is now a record breaker. What record, however? Dusty, please. What record has this man broken? Why is he being such a hot topic yet again? Well, he just got released on a $250 million bond. So yeah, again, over in Manhattan, they've accused him of stealing billions of dollars in FTX customer funds to plug losses at his hedge fund, Alameda Research. And Bankman-Freed was not asked to enter a plea deal on Thursday. He has previously acknowledged risk management failures at FTX, but has said he does not believe he has criminal liability. And again, his parents are some juicy freaking lawyers. Don't forget that, guys. Don't forget that. Now, his defense lawyer, Mark Cohen, declined to comment after the hearing in Manhattan federal court, and Mr. Nicholas Rose, a prosecutor, told the U.S. magistrate judge, Gabriel Garenstein, that the bail package would require Bankman-Freed to surrender his passport and remain in home confinement at his parents' house in Palo Alto, California. He would also be required to undergo regular mental health treatment and evaluation, and Mr. Rose called the package the largest ever pre-trial bond. Bankman-Freed was arrested last week in the Bahamas, where he was based and where FTX was also based. He departed from the Caribbean nation in FBI custody on Wednesday night. I wonder how he flew. Mr. Cohen said he agreed with prosecutors' proposed bail conditions. He noted that his parents, both Stanford Law School professors, would co-sign the bond and post the equity in their home as assurance for Bankman-Freed's return to court. Now, the one thing that must be on y'all's mind, and was on mine as well, and actually is still, where exactly does this money come from, right? Because let me quickly put things out for you guys so you understand. Sam Bankman-Freed was the founder of FTX and the founder of Alameda Research. Now, Alameda was a big venture capital firm, and FTX was the big crypto exchange. Whoa. All good, I think. Having some breathing problems last couple of days. Hope we're good. Now, the quick question that comes up to everybody's mind is, where exactly does the money come up from? Because he's got the two entities, of which Alameda was in a crazy amount of debt, and FTX, well, the funds were frozen. And he basically said a couple of times over on Twitter, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, I would do anything to make investors whole. I would try to start new ventures to put that money into making investors whole. And if I were still in charge, people would probably get their money back already. That is all very courteous. I enjoy reading about that, of him being so tough to say all that, you know? Oh, cool. But I kind of wondered then, if Alameda was doing so bad and FTX was in, bankruptcy state basically, how exactly he can have $250 million to basically put down for this? I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Now, one thing that comes up to everybody's mind is, well, his parents, of which his wait a minute. Is this his dad or his mom? I guess mom is a prime example of. They apparently got like 150 mil in terms of property over in the Bahamas, right? What was that exact number? Yeah, it's being alleged about $121 million. But some others are stating that number might be a significant amount higher, of which a juicy amount is also owned by the parents. And again, I'm not going to try and state that they couldn't have actually earned it on their own, but I believe that, Bankman-Freed actually said that some of these properties were bought in companies' names for executives and also for the parents and also for him, sort of. Now, the story gets a little bit juicier. Apparently, two former top Sam Bankman-Freed associates just pleaded guilty to fraud charges, and here are the allegations against Caroline Allison and Gary Wang. Again, looking up on the internet, you can see FTX's Gary Wang and Alameda's Caroline Allison plead guilty to federal charges, and it's also been basically circling around the web that Caroline Allison is actually going to work with the authorities to basically catch Sam Bankman-Freed. So the whole pyramid is falling a lot quicker than expected. FTX co-founder Gary Wang and former Alameda Research co-CEO Caroline Allison both pleaded guilty to federal charges in the Southern District of New York, which is Surprising to me. Then again, there are a couple of theories going around that this was all orchestrated by Sam Bankman-Freed's parents. Again, top lawyers with top-of-the-top connections. That they arranged for all of this to make Bankman-Freed come out on top. Again, I'm not sure. I'm just saying what's been going around. Simultaneously, both the CFTC and the SEC released civil complaints against them. Interesting. A little bit late, but okay. Ellison, 28, and Wang, 29, became the second and third individuals to be charged in connection with FTX's multi-billion-dollar collapse. Bankman-Freed, 30, was indicted in federal court earlier this month. So this is kind of like a catch-all, but Wang apparently pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, and conspiracy to commit securities fraud. Ellison pleaded guilty to 2 counts of actual wire fraud, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. So those are some pretty severe charges. Again, the whole wire fraud is what they catch everybody with, which is what all these lawyers were saying that was going to be dragged upon them because that was an easy win, an easy dubs. And again, before I forget, guys, make sure you press that like button if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. Now, apparently the duo's plea deal or agreements were already signed over on Monday, the day that Bankman-Freed originally was supposed to come back to the US. And again, right now, all the rest is stating is that they're just investigating things and that things will still be changing over the next couple of days, most likely. Again, there's a little part about the SEC and the CFTC now going for some complaints against Wang and Ellison. And it's also been said, take a look at this, the SEC, who again is very much connected to Ellison, it's kind of strange they're going after her so hard, but okay, alleged that they were involved in a multi-year scheme to defraud equity investors in FTX, the crypto trading platform co-founded by Samuel Bankman-Freed and Wang. Which is interesting because you kind of think that like Kevin O'Leary or so wouldn't be backing them so much if the whole entire idea is to get rid of their money, basically. Again, the CFTC was alleging a lot of these other fraud pieces or so, and Wang and Ellison accepted the claims made against them. The CFTC statement said, Ellison was singled out in the SEC complaint for engaging in artificial manipulation of FTT, FTX's self-issued token, as a broader effort to boost Alameda Research's available collateral for lending. In a statement, the SEC said that Wang and Ellison had also accepted bifurcated settlements in connection with the complaints and are cooperating. What a word. Now, another couple of things are also starting to come to light. For example, take a look at this. The SEC alleges that Wang created a software backdoor in FTX's platform, which allowed Alameda to divert customer funds for its own trades. You know, he's basically saying, or the SEC is saying that there was intentional that they did this. Alameda was led by Bankman-Freed until 2021, when Ellison assumed control alongside Sam Trabucco, who departed from Alameda in August of 2022. Trabucco did not immediately respond to CNBC's request for comment, and apparently the guy quit while he was still ahead, Mr. Trabucco, because he's not actually mentioned in any of the connections of wrongdoing. Wang's attorney said in a statement, Gary has accepted responsibility for his actions and takes seriously his obligations as a cooperating witness, which is going to be interesting. What exactly did he witness? Wait a minute, now that I'm reading into this a little bit further, by the way, the parents of Mr. Bankman-Freed, both Stanford Law School professors, would co-sign the bond and post the equity in their home as assurance for Bankman-Freed's return to court. How much is that home, I wonder? Now, besides all that, because this is obviously not so nice to read, something interesting is going to be going on in the near future. Is Binance in trouble is a question. Are other exchanges in trouble? Well, we'll have to see. Because regulators right now are going heavy on the entire crypto market, and you should be a little bit worried for some exchanges not being able to hold on to this pressure. It's just the honest truth. Do I think Binance is safe? Sure. Do I think my Bybit, my lovely people are safe? Yeah. But then again, I am not your guarantor or anything. I just want you guys to know things might get a little bit more heated in this space as, well, more and more parties are going to be questioned by these major authorities, especially if they're operating in the US. At the end of the day, though, and this is a very important thing, it's all good for crypto, though, over the longer term. This is all needing to happen, basically, for the space to grow, obviously. And so I can't say I'm completely mad that bigger investigations are going to be coming up. At the end of the day, it also depends on per company, With Binance, for example, the reason I trust them is because CZ's responses are always very logical and also something that we can resonate with a lot. Like, for example, Binance is not only looking for investor profit, they're basically looking for longevity, changing the space, and in my opinion, staying market leader, while making sure they don't over-risk to basically have the things that FTX had happen. Whatever. Crypto will keep changing, and this is also what keeps crypto so fresh and so wild, because it's all so new, so rusty and whatnot. One of the things you should also not really be worried about, but think about sometimes as well, how much would crypto change if, for example, Satoshi, is it a person, is it a group, we don't know, would come back and all of a sudden started showing activity with the wallet. Albeit not a big transfer, what if they just showed activity that the wallet is actually alive or something along those lines? It's just something that I sometimes think about. The moment that wallet moves any amount of money, how much would the crypto space change just because of that? Showing that Satoshi is not quote unquote dead, or that somebody has found access to the money. All those speculations can just rise again. And this is something you should think about sometimes. You know, the fact that crypto is still in its infancy stage, many issues are not yet fixed. It's like a game in early release still, so to speak. But I guess rest assured, in my own opinion, this is a really good reassurance. You're still very early because, well, Apple has not even had this full functionality in its phones yet, but it will come eventually, I think. So if you just keep on buying before that happens, all these different cryptos, well, I personally think there's still a lot of gains to be made. And a lot of cryptos like XRP, for example, I think they'll do really well. But there's a whole list of them, which I cover on this channel very often. That was it for today. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. See you guys again in another update tomorrow.